Okay, thank you all. I appreciate it. Okay. I only have like 2 minutes. Oftentimes I get asked why I do what I do, and I always say it happened in 2016. There was a death of a student who attended Booker T. Washington Senior High School. His name was Richard Harmon. Mr. Aristide asked me to come and speak to the memorial service that they was having for Richard. And I went out to the school prepared to say some kind words to the family and to the students. But before I took the stage, we decided to let his classmates speak. And we sat back after student 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 came up and shared their hurt, their pain, their trauma, and their drama about their fathers, some of their brothers, their mothers, their friends, their cousins, and their neighbors who was gunned down on the streets, in front of their homes, at the corner stores, and nobody had ever asked them what did it mean to them. The grief in the room was so thick and heavy that we couldn't do anything with it. We just had to sit there. And it bothered me. It really bothered me because I, too, grew up in Scott Projects. And I was 6 years old playing with my 14-year-old brother. My mother told my brother to take the trash outside. And my brother came back in the house with a bullet in his leg. And 6-year-old me just like, we were just playing in the house. There was blood on the floor, paramedics, the police. My mom and my brother went to the hospital. And we never talked about it. We never even discussed it. So I understood what it felt like to be them boys on that day. And then when I was 21 years old, I had another brother. That brother, the first brother, survived. On Northwest 68 Terrace and 18th Avenue, my brother David was shot in the back. And I went to the scene to see my brother laying on the floor. And I just stood there. I didn't cry. I didn't say anything. I just stood there because I had already been conditioned that you just move on with your life as if it didn't happen. But we do know that it is happening. And it was only happening in certain zip codes, in certain neighborhoods. And so I wanted to know, well, why is this only happening in certain areas and certain zip codes? And so I went and got some mental health counseling in my early 20s, and it helped me process things. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was able to deal with it. So I said I wanted to become a mental health counselor. So I started on that journey. We had opened up Affirming Youth Center because I was going to do mental health counseling. But when I graduated as a clinical mental health counselor, you start having these discussions with these kids, and you realize it's not just the mental health. It is the education. It is the environments. We call it sociology. The sociology, where you live, where you work, where you play. Only certain zip codes have these adverse outcomes, and I wanted to know why. And then after Mr. Fair gave us the seed money and we got the grant, in October or November 2019, there was another shooting of another young man. His name was Nelt in Lincoln Fields community. In January, February, March, April, Affirming Youth, our agency got an influx of young black boys, 14, 15, 16, and 17, being arrested. And when they came into the office, you'll see them say, "What's up, man?" Because you see the other guy coming out the office with another therapist. And then you see this one coming out the office and know the other person over here. And like, well, why do they know each other? how you know him? Oh, that's my dog. We're on the football team. Well, how you know him? Oh, we was together. But we did not know at the time that all of those arrests that happened in January, February, and March, and April of 2020, all of them boys were with Nelt when Nelt was shot in the head. And all of them was experiencing depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And then I said, you know, this is, I mean, come on now, this got to be insanity. Because if it happened with me all them years ago, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough. If it happened with me all that time ago and you still see it in 2016, and now you see it in 2019, something is going on. Something is going on. And so we begin to become more intentional about the work that we're doing because I experience it, my lived and my shared experience, understand what it's like to see your loved one laying on the streets lifeless and nobody cared enough to ask, what did it mean to you? And so my staff and I and our community partners is not about me. It's about the work that we're doing. It's about each and every last one of you that came out today to support these efforts. It's about these experts. Well, we used to call them experts, but now we realize it's the young men in the community who's experiencing these issues, these adverse health outcomes. They are really the ones who are the experts because they have the solutions. Don't believe me? People know what they need. Just ask them. And we begin to ask them, what do you need? What do you need? Tell me, help me understand, why is this happening? Help me understand why you feel the need to go and steal shoes. And they begin to tell you. And you may not agree with it, but it's not for you to agree. It's for you to listen to what they're telling you. Because it's being said over and over and over and over again by different people in different ways in the same zip codes. So then you begin to develop strategies to address their needs and their concerns with them in mind, and they're collaborating with us to help us design it to change the trajectory of their lives. Because we do know what happens if they don't receive support: substance misuse disorder, alcoholism, low-wage jobs. Then what happens? You find ways to cope. The stress becomes too much. And so I thank God for my lived and my shared experience. Sis, more than one, multiple. It was painful, but I realized that I've been blessed to deal with those problems that I had. And then I came back into the same community where they occurred for me to do the same work. And it means a lot to me to be in Liberty City. Expanding to Miami Gardens. We expanded in Miami Gardens in January or February. But it means a lot to me. The children matter to me. You matter to me. So thank you all for coming out here today. It matters to me. Thank you.
Look at that standing ovation for my friend. We have been friends a long time, and now you know why. The passion and the hard work and the dedication, everything. Thank you all for supporting Jonathan Spikes. Thank you. I'm Tamara G. That's it. Good evening. Thank you all so much. I hope you had a great time tonight. Let's just kind of hang until they tell us to leave, because you know that's what Jonathan said.